Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath and ask yourself this question that has haunted humanity since the beginning of time. What were you doing before you took your first breath? Before your heart began beating in your mother's womb? Before your soul chose this body, this family, this lifetime? Where were you? Who were you? And why did you choose to come here? Children sometimes remember. They speak of floating in light, of choosing their mommy and daddy from a place where love has no boundaries. They describe meeting their future siblings in gardens made of starlight. They remember councils of beings who helped them plan their journey to Earth, but we forget. We're meant to forget, or are we? Hidden in the caves of Egypt, buried beneath centuries of sand and silence, ancient texts have been discovered that map the soul's journey from cosmic consciousness into human form. The Tibetan Book of Coming Into Day, the Gnostic manuscripts of Nag Hammadi, scrolls that read like your soul's own forgotten autobiography. These aren't religious doctrines. They're not belief systems demanding your faith. They're memory recovery tools. And today, we're going to remember together. We're going to trace your footsteps backward through dimensions you once called home. We're going to discover exactly what happened before you were born and why you chose to forget it all. Because the truth is more beautiful than you could ever imagine. For nearly 2,000 years, certain knowledge was deliberately hidden. In 1945, a farmer digging for fertilizer in the Egyptian desert struck something hard: buried clay jars. Inside those jars, 52 ancient texts that the early Christian church had ordered destroyed. The Gnostic Gospels, and among them detailed maps of the soul's pre-birth journey. These weren't theoretical teachings. They were practical guides. The Book of Coming Into Day describes the exact process by which consciousness chooses incarnation. The Gospel of Philip reveals the sacred contract souls make before birth, text after text, scroll after scroll, all describing the same fundamental truth. You existed before you were born, and that existence was magnificent. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet whose trance readings opened windows into the soul's eternal journey, described these pre-birth realms with startling clarity. According to Cayce's vision, every soul experiences what he called interplanetary sojourns between earthly lives, not on physical planets, but in dimensions of consciousness that each planet represents. But why was this knowledge suppressed? Because it transforms everything. It means your current struggles aren't random suffering. Your relationships aren't accidents. Your deepest challenges aren't punishments from an angry God. They're curriculum, chosen curriculum, and you were the one who chose it. The ancient texts weren't just preserved by accident. They were preserved for this moment, for you, for a time when humanity was ready to remember that we are not victims of circumstance. We are architects of experience. Picture yourself in a space beyond space, a realm where thought becomes reality instantly, where love isn't just an emotion, it's the fundamental building material of existence itself, where you can perceive every possible timeline stretching out before you like golden threads in an infinite tapestry. This is the hall of choosing, and you stood there once, complete and unlimited, reviewing the life you're living right now like a cosmic architect examining blueprints. You could have chosen any existence. You could have selected a life of ease, comfort, endless pleasure. You could have picked different parents, a different century, a different planet entirely. But you didn't. You chose this one. This specific combination of circumstances, relationships, and challenges. You chose your exact parents with their particular gifts and wounds. You chose the precise moment in human history when your specific light would be most needed. Why? Because your soul doesn't grow through comfort. It expands through contrast. It becomes more of what it truly is by experiencing what it is not. In the hall of choosing, you understood something that your human mind struggles to grasp. Every challenge you would face was actually an opportunity. Every person who would hurt you was actually a teacher. Every loss you would experience was actually a doorway to discovering something deeper about love. The ancient texts describe this choosing process in exquisite detail. Souls don't just randomly fall into bodies. They spend what could be years in Earth time carefully selecting every major element of their upcoming incarnation, and you chose with perfect love and infinite wisdom. But why did you choose to forget making that choice? Imagine remembering everything, every lifetime you've ever lived, every soul you've ever loved across countless incarnations, every lesson learned, every mistake made, every triumph celebrated in dimensions beyond physical form. Imagine being able to perceive all timelines simultaneously, past, present, and future flowing together like colors in cosmic light. Imagine knowing with absolute certainty exactly why every experience in your upcoming life has been perfectly designed for your soul's highest evolution. This was your state of being before incarnation: unlimited awareness, boundless love, complete understanding. Edgar Cayce described this pre-birth consciousness as our natural state, what he called at-one-ment with the universal mind. According to his readings, every soul carries within it the memory of this cosmic awareness, buried beneath layers of earthly forgetting, waiting to be rediscovered. You were once able to communicate telepathically with every soul in your cosmic family. You could visit any realm of existence simply by focusing your attention there. You experienced love not as something you felt, but as something you were made of. The question that haunts every mystic, every seeker, every soul who catches glimpses of this greater reality is, why would you leave paradise to come here? Why would infinite consciousness choose to squeeze itself into the tiny vessel of human awareness? Why would a being of pure light decide to experience limitation, pain, separation, and fear? The answer reveals the most beautiful truth about existence itself. You came here not because you were forced to, not because you did something wrong, not because you were being punished or tested by some cosmic authority. You came here because love, true love, always seeks to give of itself, and the greatest gift consciousness can give is the experience of remembering itself. Your temporary forgetting isn't a mistake. It's the setup for the most magnificent discovery possible, rediscovering who you really are while appearing to be someone else entirely. You were never alone in the planning process. Picture a council chamber made of light itself, where beings of such evolved consciousness gather that their presence feels like coming home to yourself. These are the souls who have walked with you through countless incarnations, your eternal family, your cosmic companions. Some you know in this lifetime, others wait for you in dimensions beyond physical form. Together you designed what Cacey called your soul's curriculum, the perfect sequence of experiences that would allow your consciousness to expand in precisely the ways it needed to grow. Every major relationship in your current life was discussed in these planning sessions. Your parents, your siblings, your closest friends, your most challenging adversaries. Each soul volunteered to play specific roles in your earthly drama. That person who broke your heart, they loved you enough to agree to teach you about resilience. That parent who couldn't give you what you needed, they courageously accepted the difficult role of showing you how to develop your own inner strength. That friend who betrayed your trust, they volunteered to help you learn discernment and self-worth. This doesn't minimize the very real pain these experiences caused. It doesn't excuse harmful behavior or suggest you should accept abuse. But it reframes your story from random suffering to purposeful initiation. The councils don't just plan your challenges, though. They orchestrate your joys with equal care. That moment when you felt unconditionally loved. That experience of creative flow when time seemed to stop. That instant connection with someone who felt like they'd always known you. Those weren't accidents either. They were gifts, carefully placed reminders of who you really are beneath the temporary costume of human personality. The soul councils work like master composers, arranging the symphony of your life with movements of both discord and harmony, knowing that the full beauty emerges only when all the notes are played together. And you were not just the beneficiary of this planning. You were an active participant, a co-creator of your own experience. The most profound relationships in your life aren't accidents, they're contracts. Sacred agreements made in realms of pure love between souls who cared enough about each other's growth to commit to playing challenging roles. Before birth, you sat with the soul who would become your most difficult parent and said, "I love you enough to let you teach me about boundaries." You embraced the being who would break your heart and whispered, "Thank you for helping me discover my own capacity to heal." These contracts aren't binding in the way human contracts are. They're more like love letters written between eternal beings, promising to help each other remember truth through the temporary experience of forgetting it. The soul who agreed to be your first love, they promised to show you the beauty of opening your heart, even knowing it might get broken. The friend who would challenge your deepest beliefs. They volunteered to help you develop authentic faith rather than inherited assumptions. Even more remarkably, you signed contracts with souls you might never meet in physical form, but whose lives would intersect with yours in ways that would change both of you forever. The author whose book would find you at exactly the right moment. The stranger whose smile would restore your faith in humanity. The teacher whose words would unlock a door in your consciousness that you didn't even know was closed. Edgar Cayce spoke of these soul connections as threads of karma, not the punishment kind that popular culture describes, but the love kind. Opportunities to serve each other's highest evolution across multiple lifetimes. Some contracts involve what appears to be sacrifice. A soul might agree to die young to teach others about appreciating life. Another might choose physical limitations to demonstrate the power of the human spirit. These aren't punishments, they're gifts of profound service. And the most beautiful truth of all, you're fulfilling your soul contracts right now, in this moment, simply by being authentically yourself. Every time you choose love over fear, you honor the agreements you made. Every time you offer compassion instead of judgment, you fulfill sacred promises. Every time you grow from your challenges rather than being destroyed by them, you complete another clause in the cosmic contracts written by love itself. The journey from cosmic consciousness to human awareness doesn't happen all at once. It's a gradual process of dimensional stepping down, like a master musician learning to play in lower and lower octaves while still maintaining the essential melody. Picture chambers of light, each one slightly denser than the last. In the first chamber, you still retain full cosmic awareness while beginning to focus your attention on the specific lifetime you've chosen. In the second, you start to take on the emotional patterns that will serve your Earth mission. In the third, you begin developing the personality traits that will help you navigate human relationships. Cacey described these transitional dimensions as interplanetary sojourns. Not physical travel, but consciousness experiencing the vibrational qualities that each celestial body represents. A sojourn in the Venus realm might develop your capacity for love and beauty. Time in the Mars dimension could strengthen your courage and determination. At each level of descent, certain aspects of your unlimited awareness are temporarily set aside. Not lost, simply placed in cosmic storage until you're ready to reclaim them, your ability to communicate telepathically, stored, but it might emerge as strong intuition or the ability to sense others' emotions. Your memory of past lifetimes, archived, but it could surface as unexplainable knowledge or instant mastery of certain skills. Your direct connection to cosmic guidance, suspended, but it might manifest as a strong inner voice or the ability to receive insights through dreams and meditation. With each dimensional step, you become more specifically yourself. The vast universal consciousness that you are begins to take on the unique personality, interests, and gifts that will serve your Earth mission. And in the final chamber before birth, something remarkable happens. Your soul selects what mystics call your light codes, the essential spiritual DNA that will help you remember who you are and why you came, even through the veil of human forgetting. These codes are embedded in your deepest intuitions, your natural gifts, your unexplainable knowings. They're the reason certain spiritual teachings resonate in your bones. They're why some places feel like home the first time you visit them. They're the source of that persistent sense that you're here for something important, even when you can't name what it is. The veil of forgetting isn't cruel. It's compassionate. Imagine trying to learn patience while remembering that you're an eternal being for whom time doesn't exist. Picture attempting to develop courage while knowing with absolute certainty that death is just another doorway. Consider how difficult it would be to practice forgiveness while seeing clearly that your enemy is actually a beloved soul friend playing a temporary role. Complete memory of your cosmic nature would make authentic human growth impossible. So, the memory seals were placed with exquisite care, allowing just enough remembrance to leak through as guidance while preserving the integrity of your earthly journey. Your deepest dreams aren't random neural firings. They're messages from the part of you that never forgot who you are. That inexplicable knowing that you've met someone before. That's your soul recognizing another player in your pre-planned drama. The sudden insights that arise during meditation, those are cosmic memories bubbling up through the carefully calibrated gaps in your amnesia. Edgar Cayce explained that the memory seals serve another crucial purpose. They protect your human psyche from being overwhelmed by infinite awareness. Consciousness learns to walk before it learns to fly. You develop human emotional mastery before reclaiming cosmic emotional range. But the seals were never meant to be permanent. As you grow in wisdom, compassion, and self-awareness, they naturally begin to dissolve. Meditation weakens them. Acts of selfless service create cracks in them. Moments of profound love temporarily override them entirely, and sometimes, in moments of crisis or deep spiritual opening, the seals lift just enough for you to glimpse the magnificent truth. You are not a human being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. A cosmic consciousness that chose to dream itself into temporary limitation for the sheer joy of rediscovering its own unlimited nature. The forgetting was never punishment. It was the ultimate act of spiritual courage. Consciousness agreeing to lose itself completely in order to find itself more fully than ever before. The final moment of incarnation is like the universe holding its breath. Imagine infinite awareness, vast as space itself, compressing into the tiny vessel of infant consciousness. Picture cosmic love, unlimited and eternal, squeezing itself into a heart that will beat maybe 80 years before returning to the stars. This is what you did. This was your moment of ultimate courage. At the instant of birth, your cosmic self performed what can only be called a miracle. It became small enough to fit inside human form while maintaining its essential essence. Like light condensing into a diamond, your unlimited nature crystallized into a specific personality designed for a specific mission. But you brought gifts with you. Even compressed into human awareness, you carried forward the spiritual DNA needed to fulfill your purpose. The talents that seem to come naturally, the wisdom that feels older than your years, the love that appears spontaneously when others are suffering. These aren't learned behaviors. They're cosmic carryovers, pieces of your infinite self that remained accessible even through the veil of human consciousness. Cacey described this birth compression as the soul taking on flesh, not as imprisonment, but as a focused creative project. Your soul doesn't become trapped in your body. It becomes expressed through your body. Every breath you take is cosmic consciousness breathing through human lungs. Every word you speak is eternal wisdom flowing through a temporary voice. Every act of love is infinite compassion manifesting through finite form. And the most remarkable truth? The compression was reversible from the very beginning. Every spiritual practice, every moment of meditation, every experience of unconditional love gradually decompresses your awareness back toward its cosmic state. Not after death, now, while still in human form. This is why awakening feels like remembering rather than learning something new. This is why spiritual truth resonates like a bell in your soul, rather than striking you as mere information. You're not discovering alien concepts. You're reclaiming your own nature. The birth compression was never permanent. It was like cosmic consciousness putting itself into a temporary container, knowing it could always expand back out when the time was right. And that time is always now. Your soul left you breadcrumbs. Scattered throughout your human experience are signs pointing back to your pre-birth choices, your cosmic nature, your eternal mission. Most people miss them because they're looking for dramatic supernatural experiences instead of recognizing the extraordinary hiding in plain sight. That person you met and instantly felt like you'd known forever? Your soul was recognizing a pre-birth planning partner. That place you visited that felt inexplicably like home. You might have spent lifetimes there, or it might resonate with the dimensional quality of your pre-earthly existence. The subjects that fascinate you for no logical reason. The skills that come naturally despite never being taught. The types of people you're consistently drawn to help. The specific forms of suffering that break your heart more than others. These aren't random preferences. They're your soul's compass, pointing toward your chosen mission. Edgar Cayce taught that each soul carries within it what he called soul urges, deep impulses that arise from both past life experiences and pre-birth intentions. These urges often feel like a magnetic pull toward specific experiences, relationships, or forms of service. Pay attention to what makes you feel most alive, not just happy, alive. That quality of aliveness is often your soul recognizing experiences that align with your pre-birth intentions. Notice what breaks your heart in a way that makes you want to help rather than just feel sad. Those specific forms of suffering that move you to action, they often point to the areas where your soul committed to serve before incarnating. Watch for the moments when time seems to stop. When you're so absorbed in an activity that hours pass, like minutes, when you feel most authentically yourself. These experiences of flow are often your personality aligning with your soul's true nature. And trust the persistent sense that you're here for something important, even when you can't name what it is. That feeling isn't ego or delusion, it's soul memory seeping through the veil of human forgetting. Your deepest dreams often contain pre-birth memories disguised as symbols. Dreams of flying might be memories of your soul's unlimited movement between dimensions. Dreams of being in cosmic spaces might be glimpses of the realms you called home before birth. The remembering signs aren't just personal memories either. They're navigation tools, ways your soul speaks to your human personality saying, remember why you came. Remember what you promised to do. Remember who you really are beneath this temporary costume of human identity.